Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio.
To enjoy the glow of good health, you must exercise. Gene Tunney.
Laughing.
Yeah, we are laughing. This is good. Welcome back, everyone, to the show, and be prepared to laugh because, hey, we're already laughing, and we haven't even gotten started yet. Today's show topic is going to be about fitness and happiness, and I'm here today with fitness expert Helena Smolock, and she is the president and founder of Velocity Athletic and Training, and she's been doing training for over 35 years, guys, and she's had a few appearances in the film industry, and she was a track star way back when she lived in Ontario. Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So, Helena, welcome to the show. Are you still laughing?
Yes. We gotta laugh, Michael. We gotta laugh.
Well,
I just, I was born and raised in Ottawa, Ontario. That's where my roots are. I was born to Lebanese family, parents. So my career started in the fitness industry in Ottawa, Ontario, and it just basically grew from there.
yeah.
Actually, I was 16 years old when I started in this industry. I taught aerobic classes of all levels, part-time after school at Catherine's Lady Fitness back then, and just continued the journey. And thank you so much for having me on the show. This is going to be a very fun episode.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Your cultural background from your parents, right? Lebanon is a very exciting and fun place to be.
Yes.
Now, yes,
I've never been.
There's been of course, people think when they think of Lebanon, they think of like Beirut and the bombing things and all that kind of stuff. But the culture itself is very celebratory and
Yes.
let's have fun, right? It's like
Hey, I used to belly dance, believe it or not. In Ottawa, they like to have they call them Lebanese parties. I don't know why it's called Lebanese parties, but I just look at it as a party,
Yeah.
Everybody goes to this party, and but the one thing, I would always get shoved into the center and, come on, get up and dance, you're so good at belly dancing. And, it was fun. It's great, and it's a great form of exercise.
I was going to say, it takes a lot of muscle control to belly dance.
Absolutely. I mean, oh my gosh, if a woman wants to really slim herself out, just get into belly dancing. I mean, it'll just bring out your muscles and your core. I mean, it's an amazing, and you sweat, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we did a lot of that, and fitness was, nobody else in my family is really into the fitness although let me backtrack with that. My uncle was a bodybuilder back in his youthful years. My gosh, he was like this big buff guy, and he was naturally, genetically muscular. So he didn't have to do a whole lot to get into that bodybuilding mode where you see him posing. He didn't have to do a lot. So I believe that's probably where I got this passion for movement, for exercise, for teaching. So, but today's subject is very important. We're talking about being happy with, getting into exercise. And we sure have seen a decline in that.
Right.
In the past couple of years. And, I never ever thought that we would be facing this. Not in my career time.
Oh, you mean the whole pandemic thing?
Right.
The lockdown.
And I just want to briefly touch on it, and the reason why I want to touch upon it is because, like I mentioned earlier, I looked into statistics about this. Mm-hmm. And here, alone in the United States, just in 2019, the industry generated a revenue of $35 billion. I mean, that's high, right? And that tells me from the time I started in the industry that the industry grew, and it was continuing to grow. It's grown so much over the years, from the simple high impact, low impact movement classes, aquafit, to all sorts of machineries and different types of classes. So that was put on a halt, right? And so we got to think about what did this period of, this mass happy people. Let's look at it that way, because people that go into a gym and work out, whether it's in a gym or outside or even in their own home, they're generating feelings of, I'm going to say euphoria, because you feel this high, you feel this joy, especially more so when you're in a group setting, right? And now that whole feeling of joy and happiness for 2 years was sort of on hold.
Yeah.
What did people do, right?
Well, that is a good question. What did people do when they couldn't go to the gym? Now, me personally, I'm the outlier. But I'm not a type A or B. I'm a type T personality. So type T personality is that thrill seeker. So I've always been the one to run through the woods and jump off the cliff and all that kind of stuff. So so it was quite natural for me to exercise outdoors.
Right.
But that was the whole thing, is we didn't see people like taking it outdoors, did we?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think people were prepared. My target with my business is the corporate professional. It is the average individual as well who wants to work out. Mm-hmm. They're, either type A, they want to look good, they want to feel good. Mm-hmm. These are people that take their health and wellness very seriously. Excuse me. Now, with my programming, it's not just fitness. The first 3 months, I am testing you to the core. I am putting you into programming like cardio, and I'm tweaking it at each session. When people leave the session, they're going, wow, I feel good. But they don't know that I'm tweaking it each time. And by the end of the 3 months, because that's your window as a trainer, the 3-month period is the time when your body is changing, that the client is adapting. We're not just focusing on physicality here. We're focusing on your mind and body, that whole, the mind and the emotions, that whole connection. So by the end of the 3rd month, I say, okay, I'll look at my client and say, are you ready now? And they're like, ready? And I say, yeah. And they're like, what are you going to do? I said, let's go. And I start to throw in plyometric training and intervals and, going like elevation training. And they're just like astounded at the end of the session because they feel even more energetic. They feel more happiness. They feel more joy. They also feel more driven to accomplish things. When you don't, when you've been put back, okay, when you're told, sit at home, no parties, no gyms, what does that do? It just, it's like a slap in the face, really.
Right.
And I don't mean this as an insult to this whole.
No. We're not insulting that. You know,
it's something that the body goes and the brain and the emotions go. You go right into that flight and stress. The stress signals start to come, activating your body. So right away, the cortisol levels go up. Your stress factors are high, and you just go, "What am I going to do?" A lot of people felt the change. Pardon me. So it's, how do we come back is the question.
Yeah.
One thing I did during this time, I thought, okay, no, gotta remain resilient. Number one, you gotta be resilient. We've all felt this in some way or another. You're speaking to someone who's very positive. Again, my background is to stand in front of a group of people and say, "Are you ready to move?" And the response I get back is just, "Wow, let's go." Put on that music and we just move. We have fun. We're burning calories. We're having fun with our movements. And then it's, now how do we come back with this? How is the industry going to rebound from the loss? And the loss is, financially, in 2020, $20.4 billion was the loss that the industry experienced in 2020. We're now in 2020, we're in 2022. So how are we going to come back with it? How do we remotivate members? Right? That's the question. Because now we have online training, online fitness classes, and people, it took 2 years. So people are going, well, I'm comfortable. I could just sign on and just do a class with so-and-so and do my personal training with so-and-so. Now, I have not done that. And this is another change that the industry has taken, is that the certification process requires every fitness leader, every personal trainer, every health and wellness, now it's a new position out there, health coach. I don't understand why that's been developed, because there's no different from what a health coach does that what I do. I do exactly what a health coach does,
right? Even
more so. But the point is, how do we recover from that when my certifications require me to have first aid and CPR? Now, how does that get regulated when you have a trainer or a fitness leader doing online classes and personal training? It doesn't work.
Right.
It really does not work. And the consumer does not know this, right? But being in the industry for 39 years now, I know that I got to be right in front of my client, right in front of my class. If someone keels over, how is that going to help the reputation of the industry now? It's going to take more hits, I believe. So this is why I say remain resilient. This is going to pass. We're humans. We've somehow managed to make it through.
Well, let me ask you a question with that. When you take a client on, how do you do you test certain things to make sure that they're healthy enough to be able to do a full workout?
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. I really don't know how these people do it. I mean, when a client comes to me, I spend a good hour with the client. I'm not just talking, I'm not talking about their fitness level. I'm digging deeper. This is why my studio that I had in Langley, it was strictly one-to-one training, and it was professional. It was geared toward the individual. So my role as a trainer is to find out not just how, your fitness level. Yes, I do test. I have to test.
Right.
If you're 50 pounds overweight, I cannot take someone that's fallen in that obesity range and say, okay, we're going out for a jog. I don't know if that person has suffered heart attacks or has high blood pressure. These are things that must be looked at prior to anybody exercising. I follow a very strict system in my business, and if there's, the PAR-Q form must be completed, liability forms must be completed. I need to know where the client is emotionally and mentally as well, because that's going to make a difference whether they're going to be successful or not. Are they going to drop out?
Yeah.
So this is why I mentioned earlier, we always have fun too, trust me.
Yeah.
But we laugh. We laugh our heads off, because I don't believe that fitness and athleticism need to be serious. I mean, it depends, again, pro athletes, they're very serious. They're very, they're zoned in, and there are no blinders. They're just, right? So, but the average individual wants to get into a situation, get into fitness, workout, and feel the difference, not just in body weight, but in the way they're having fun with the exercise and feeling the workouts.
Right. Well, maybe not.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it actually does make a lot of sense. We're gonna edit this part out in a second here, but don't you hate it when it's like, my microphone's battery operated, and all of a sudden it's deciding.
Oh, is it giving you feedback?
It's crackling, so it means that the batteries are going to die out soon.
We don't want you to die out. Okay, give me 20 jumping jacks, Michael. Let's go. 1, 2.
There we go.
Well, you're totally loaded with your your mics, and you're so lucky. I have this little.
Okay, hang on a second. I'd never showed you this part. While we're still in the mode that we have to edit in. Let's see.
Wow. That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Hey, there you are. See you?
Oh, there he is. Oh, you're so good.
I know, me and Andre about the craziest people you know, right?
Did you talk to him? Have you touched
him? You said he's moving to.
That was so funny. He says he connected with me on LinkedIn, and I had to remind him. I don't know if he still remembers me or not. But I said, remember, I reached out to you, and he didn't really respond with that. But then he says, "Oh, I'm going to leave Canada." I said, "Oh." He planned. Well, it was a choice between. He says, either. What was it? Oh yeah, Dubai. He says Russia or Europe. I said, "Well, what's wrong with Trudeau?" he threw the question back at me.
Yeah. You said that in your text message. All right. Okay. So where were we?
We were talking about the clients.
Oh yeah, our clients.
Let's do 20 jumping jacks. Woo!
Yeah. Okay. And we're back in. Okay. So you have an onboarding process for your clients. One for their safety, because I get the high blood pressure, the heart attack.
Absolutely.
There's other pulmonary problems that a person could have. Because me personally, I have asthma, and it really shows up when I start to exercise in certain ways. You're like, oh my God, what's going on with you? Why is your nose running and you seem to be foaming at the mouth, sort of thing, and not a pretty sight. No cameras, please, on that one. but if you don't know that these things are going to appear, you don't have some sort of history on this person, could you be putting them in danger?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is how serious the role of a personal trainer and a fitness leader is. You are, these people, your clients, your participants, are putting their health and wellness into your hands. It's like when they go to a doctor, right? When we go to see a doctor, we're putting what he says to us, he or she says to us, we take it. That doctor's right. It's the same thing. There's no difference between that and what I do, or anyone, fitness leader or personal trainer does. They have to know the history of the client, the history of the participant. And so if you're not collecting that information, not only are you putting your client at risk of injury, you're also putting yourself at risk for liability suit. So, we're the three key things: flexibility testing, cardiovascular testing, strength testing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take someone who's obese and say, okay, here's 50 pounds. I want you to do a back row for me. First of all, that's not motivating the individual. It's actually scaring them away. And I'll give you a scenario. I had trained someone in that category. She was obese. And I took her to a local gym. And I'm not going to say which gym. And she wanted to get a membership. And so I took her, and she was too scared to go to the gym. This is the type of client where a trainer and a fitness leader really you have to hone into the emotions of this individual. They're scared. Why? Well, you walk into a gym and you'll see these fitness buffs, and if you're, in the obese range, they feel intimidated. So I went with her, and it was during the membership. The salesperson said something, and it just threw my client right off. She looked at me, she says, I got to get out of here right now. This is, a serious business. It's not just, okay, I'm going to offer this online and just make money. I'm sorry, it's not just about making money. It's about your client. It's about the participant. And until then, I think this is why I mentioned, where do we go from here? Are we going to go back to normal? Are gyms going to be able, to open up and recover from the loss? I mean, losing that amount of money in 2019 or 2020, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's starting from, so my train of thought here, Michael, is I remained resilient. I could have offered outdoor training. I didn't want to. I thought this is way too much with the 6 feet apart and, make sure everything's wiped down. I thought, you know what? No, I'm just going to build the brand and I'm going to just wait it out. Number one, protect the business. Number two, ensure that when things are back up and rolling, I'm prepared for it.
Yeah.
So this is how we can prepare. Bringing a client back in, let's remotivate them. Let's get them back into the groove of having faith in the industry. Because what was the issue? The issue was health, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, in the beginning, I thought, you know what? I'm going to keep motivating people, but I'm not going to take on clients. I'm not going to do classes. I thought I'm going to generate. I had established Move Your Body series on Blog Talk Radio in Canada. Mm-hmm. So I took it to YouTube. And I thought, I don't care. Yeah, okay. I'm in front of the camera. And it took me a lot because you're talking to someone who's used to having someone in front of her, my client in front of me, one-on-one. This time it was the camera, me and the camera. So it's like, is anybody listening? So I started to build up that momentum and thought hopefully this helps people out there to understand, keep moving. Gyms are shut down, go outside, do a walk, incorporate some resistance training in the walk, all these important factors. And has it worked? I think it has. I think people, other individuals that work in the same industry start to pick it up and sort of promote it, which is great. But, in all reality, where was the fun of it all, right? If we're used to being in that group setting and going, okay, let's go, step touch, knee lift, blah, 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 that was gone. So,
yeah, especially for the type A personality, they need the group to keep them rolling, right?
Yes. I'm certain a lot of type A's, they knew what to do, but it's the individuals that have the challenge of, getting up and moving, right? It's a challenge for them. Whatever it is, I say stress is always the culprit in that factor. But hey, it's time to get back into the groove. I mean, we're opening up slowly. We're here in Washington State. The mandates for masks ends March 12th. So that's like, it's a relief, right? I don't have to cover my mouth. So that's motivating.
So you bring up a good point there. For the trainers who are listening to this, because hey, the trainers are entrepreneurs, that like here in BC, that they're not talking about lifting different mandates until the end of June. So we got to be aware of what's going on around us, right?
Absolutely. I know. I don't know. Are their gyms opened? Are they still shut down, or have they allowed them?
That is one of the things. They actually have fully allowed the gyms to fully open, but there's still other the masking, the social distancing, all that sort of stuff is still in place, and
right.
So it's interesting. You gotta pay attention to what's going on, what the rules are in your area. So, and that's going to affect
Yes.
affect different things.
Gyms are open here. I think they just follow those mandates, wipe down the machines, which is, to me, I don't understand why that's even a mandate. I mean, that's just a natural thing that you would, do for the next individual that's going to use the machine, right?
You don't want to you don't want to leave your sweat and bodily fluids on there for the next person that's just not nice.
So, my workshop, I've created 2 packages now. The Corporate Woman, Foundations to Health and Wellness, and the Corporate Man, Foundations to Health and Wellness. Why have I don't want to say separated them. We just have different, different metabolisms, different physiology all together. So in each package, I bring up the subjects that need to be looked at. So coming back into fitness, getting yourself back into it, start off slow. If you've been sedentary for 2 years and haven't done anything, just bring yourself, motivate. Get a group of people together. Friends, family, go for a group walk. Mm-hmm. Start that way. People say to me, well, walking isn't really exercise. It is exercise. It's movement. You're outside. Your cardiovascular system is, you're putting some demand on it. You're working muscle. But, hey, find a hill somewhere. In White Rock, you guys have those stairs.
I was gonna say that because here in White Rock we had that bluff, right, and walk up and go over to the beach and try walking back up away from the beach again, back towards Surrey, back up towards Surrey. And it's like, you're gonna feel a workout, and you're gonna get your heart rate up, and it's gonna go when it plateaus. Your heart rate will settle down again, and when you gotta go back up the hill again, your heart rate's gonna get back up.
But it's good because it's like an interval training. It's interesting we're talking about this because my good friend, actually, she's like my sister. She lives in White Rock, and she's on the treadmill. I'm doing 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off, and I'm like, great, now run really fast and increase that intensity. So it's the same thing. So for people that have been sedentary for a couple of years, you got to be careful when you're adding in intensity, especially cardiovascular training. Your body needs that time for adaptation. You can't just say, okay, body, this is what you're going to do today, and then just go do it. You might injure yourself. More than likely, you don't know if you have high blood pressure. My client that I just talked about, she was 25, and when I met with her, I already knew she had high blood pressure. I just looked at her and I asked her, I said, do you have high blood pressure? I'm not sure. I said, well, I need you to, complete the PARQ and go get a doctor's note, get a checkup, ask him to, do a checkup. And she came back to me and she said, oh my God, how would you know that I would have high blood pressure? I said, your lifestyle, what you're eating, and your weight. And these are 3 things that people now need to look at. Their lifestyle. Okay, if you've been inactive for 2 years, start moving your body, because it takes, physiologically speaking, only 2 weeks for the body to start to experience a decline in the cardiovascular movement. Mm-hmm. You will feel it. If you jump back into it after 2 weeks, your body's going to feel it.
Yeah.
Now imagine 2 years. So this is why I say, go back into it, take your time with it, have fun. I mean, exercise does amazing things to the brain and the emotions. There's that connection. So, get up, move it, just move. The art of movement I love it.
Yeah.
If I can get up and move do jumping jacks.
I was never coordinated enough to do jumping jacks, unfortunately.
But Michael, having said that, you don't have to do a cardiovascular jumping jack. You can do a low impact. Just bring your arms up. Synchronize your arm, your left arm, left leg, right arm. You synchronize it. You don't have to jump. Just that movement,
Oh, that's the part I'm talking about. Is I can never get the legs and how your legs are supposed to be apart when your arms are above your head. My arms always wind up at my sides and my legs are apart. It's kind of funny.
Hey, but you know what? That's my responsibility when a participant is not coordinated. Pardon me, is to go out and correct them, right? Motivate them. You can do it. You can do it. It's bring your right arm up and extend your right foot out. And once they feel that, they go, oh yeah, let's go. And it's a great feeling. The brain is sending those signals to the muscles, and it's going, yoo-hoo, let's go.
Yeah.
Now imagine being in a class, and when I used to teach, back then we had tapes, and they were specifically made with beats per minute. Like, for example, a warm-up would be like 130 beats per minute, right? And then the cardio would be like, say, 100 and between 140 to about probably 150 beats per minute, and then the cool down. So we were guided to our music, so that 130 is your warm-up, right?
Uh-huh.
So we do gentle warm-up. And then gradually building up that cardiovascular system, and then you hit that peak, right? Your heart rate's up, the lung capacity, everything's oxygen's flowing, blood flowing, and then you really get into the power moves, and then the movements, directional, going forward, back, right and left. So here you are, you've got 20, 30 people in front of you, and you're just directing these people to move to this music. And everybody's having so much fun. You stop and you go, how you feeling? And everybody's it's like one big loud, yeah!
Yeah.
So let's go back to that, because it is so beneficial. It is so simple. And back then it was 20 minutes. That's it. It wasn't
to stay in shape, right?
Absolutely not. Like, what I enjoy the most, and I think a lot of my participants felt a difference, was interval training. So you set up stations. That you can do this if you've got a backyard. Okay, you can create signs, and if you have kids, even better. You create these little signs, and one sign says push-ups, one sign says skipping, another sign says, let's say, overhead press. Okay, you set up the stations, and then you create this ratio, which is, say, 2 minutes of jogging on the spot, and then a minute of push-ups, or vice versa. It could be 30-second push-ups, or 2 minutes jogging on the spot. Just a simple thing like that makes a huge difference in the way you feel. You're sweating, you're outside, it's private if you have a backyard. You can do this outside. You get a group of friends together, family, and set something like that up as well. But again, you gotta be prepared for it, right?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Prepared to have fun.
We gotta be prepared for it, right? So.
So let me ask this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What have you done during this time?
What? Okay. Let's talk about me for a second.
Oh.
And
What are you tapping? Oh, okay. Okay.
And right now it says that I'm up to 27,006 for today.
Okay. So were you walking earlier before our interview?
Yeah. Sure. And
Well, that's
I was walking. I was actually walking up and down hills. Walk up one hill and back down.
Good for you.
Back and forth towards the beach. That's why I can say say what I did about the beach.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Sometimes your mic in and out. Okay, yeah. So tell me about the food bit.
So right now, my heart beat is about 65.
Okay, so it's a lower end.
Yeah. Okay. I walk all the way up to the top of the hill. Right. I go one, and my max heart rate is 113.
Oh, okay. So that's more of it's borderline beginner but intermediate. Okay, anything over 80%, you're way up there. Like you're athletic. Yeah.
So
I've never used a Fitbit. I don't know.
It reads your pulse, your oxygen rate, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And when you were saying about the warm up being 130, I've never gotten my heart rate to 130.
Oh no, not you're the beats per minute of the music.
Oh, the beats per minute of the music. Oh, I thought you were talking about the heart rate. I'm like, oh my god, I never got that far. Like, holy cow.
Yeah, that's really pushing it.
Yeah, I was like, really? I was like, that was bad. So, okay. With that being said, right? Since we're still talking about me, that because remember I told you before that I have trouble processing oxygen into my bloodstream,
because of the asthma,
right?
yeah.
Because of asthma, right? And it really shows up when I exercise. Well, exercising indoors, I can't breathe. I can't keep up with the regiment because it feels like somebody's actually strangling the air back out of my lungs. But I could do the same routine outside.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like so I never actually. That's the reason why I didn't know what you were talking about with the gym, because I've never even as much as owned a gym membership because I knew of this issue that my body has.
I think indoors it's more the air is more conditioned, whereas outside, it's more free. I would say. So do you have a inhaler? Do you need to use one of those?
No, I don't actually need the inhaler for the most part. If I calm myself back down again, it all goes back in alignment again. The one thing that I have noticed, and this has to do with other industries and everything that I've been in before I was full time on radio, is that especially when I worked in a clean room, that I do keep a cup full of stimulant caffeine nearby, which if anybody out there listening is wondering, caffeine is while it stimulates the brainstem, it also stimulates the bronchioles. So it's this bronchial dilator, and a very mild one at that. So I don't have to worry about it as long as I can get to.
Oh, that's good.
I don't have to have the and if you can avoid the heavier steroid, the salbutamol or albuterol steroids, do so. Is my advice to people on that one, because hell, it's steroids, not necessarily always a good thing, right? But if you need it, you go. But again, back to what you're saying. You talk to the doctor. It's like that. I got all this information from a doctor that I had years ago. He said remember this and this. He's like, and he said you're. And this is as I was going to university for chemistry, and he said you're going to learn more about these sort of things as you go through chemistry, and he was right. He didn't believe in just pushing a bunch of pills across the counter and say take that. He's like, he believed in a more holistic way of doing things to understand what your body's doing, and then if you need the heavy chemicals, come get it. If you don't need the heavy chemicals, stay away from it. It's like, because there's so many side effects, right? But going back to some of the side effects of exercise, though, when somebody completes the exercise regimen, right, one of the side effects is like the endorphins and things like that, the happiness hormones that come around, right?
Absolutely, of course. Like I mentioned, when you have 25 to 30 people in front of you, and you've got the music going, and you have, you're out there, and you're just basically the performer. Okay, you are, when you're a trainer, a fitness leader, you are an inspiration to the individuals that come to you. So you need to have not just that motivation, but you gotta have the personality. Nobody wants to go to a know-it-all, right?
No.
They want to go. They want to learn. Absolutely, you got to teach your clients. You got to teach them. Make them understand, or help them understand that the steps you're guiding them through, they're going to feel so much better, right? And to make it a long-term thing, it's not. I used to promote this quite a bit. That health is your commodity. It's your number one commodity.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's your wealth. When you're healthy, you're able, and when you're healthy and you're strong and you're able to go to a class or go to a personal training session where and I've seen this happen many times over my career. I've taken people, I've transformed them on every level, energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally. When I say energetic, I'm not just looking at I'm not just picking up on the way they're thinking. Movement, okay, and I know this because back in the day I was on a track team.
Right.
And the way you ran, my coach would come up to me, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Nothing's wrong, coach." "No, there's something wrong, because today you're not doing it today." So it's the same idea, right? Coach, trainer, fitness instructor, you gotta watch how your client is moving, because it's speaking to you, right? And the same thing applies to the individual. You need to understand, why am I not doing this today? What's going on? So mentally, you got to go reprogram and go, no, I've got to do this. I'm going to do it today.
Yeah.
Despite the stress, whatever bad phone call you got, or the kids are acting up, or whatever situation, you gotta dedicate it to you and just go do it.
Right.
Because tomorrow you might not have that opportunity. Tomorrow something else could happen, and then it's just going to keep setting you back. So if you don't have a trainer or you don't go to classes, again, buddy up with someone, a good friend, a family member. Let's go. Let's motivate each other. Let's do this. Let's go run up those stairs in White Rock. Let's go. I know those stairs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Those stairs are crazy.
I mean, halfway up, you're like, it's like crazy, but it's a good workout.
Yeah.
I used to manage the gym at the Pacific Inn, right? So I know the road.
Yeah.
I used to do my aquafit classes 3 times a week, but on the Tuesday and Thursday we did outdoor conditioning. Mm-hmm. Now my class, the average age was between 45 and, I'm not kidding you, up to 65 years old. And these women, I thought, I already knew I can, kick it up a notch with them outdoors, because I did it in the pool with them. But outdoors, I said, oh, there's a hill. I'm going to take them up this hill. And they just flew. I'm like, wow. If someone at the age of 65 can do it, then you can do it.
Right.
There's no excuse. The only excuse, the only hindrance is what's going on up here, and what's going on emotionally, right?
Right.
Get past it. Just get up and do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So we are starting to run low on time now. So let's get to the best ways to get a hold of you and work with you.
All right. Well, you can visit my website at www.velocityathletictraining.com. My email address is iwin, I-W-I-N, at velocityathletictraining.com.
Yeah. And you have a blog talk and a YouTube, right?
I do. I've stopped the blog talk only because I wanted to do more visual. So I'm on YouTube, yes. Velocity Athletic Training Radio is the channel. So there, you can hop on there and see what I do. I'm doing another summit that's coming up called Metamorphosis Summit. So that is all about what have we changed? Mm-hmm. What have you changed? Whether it's business, health, nutrition, what's changed? We've all had time to change, to make change, right?
Right.
Positive change.
Through
the darkness, we got to think positive. So I tell you, Michael, mm-hmm. Get up, move. I'm reaching in around me. Let's go. Fitness with an athletic twist is what I teach.
Yeah.
And it works.
On your sign, it's always said, "Get up, move, unleash your inner athletic." Right. So, there we go.
We all have it within us. We just need to tap into it.
Yeah. All right. So. This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.